Good morning from Walt Disney World. This is Chris. Today we're going to be doing a solo mile challenge. Let's see how many miles we can get done in one day. Let's give it a shot. It's going to be a warm one. Let's go. So this all started one day when Lynn and I ended up going to Universal Studios Orlando and Islands of Adventure, and we spent the whole day at the parks. And then when the parks closed, we stuck around for Halloween Horror Nights. By the end of the day, felt like we had walked a ton of miles, and we checked our step monitor. We were over 17 miles, so it got me thinking, was it possible to really walk a marathon at a theme park? So over the next 6 months or so, I started a plan. So what I would do is I'd come to Disney every weekend and continually build up miles. So the first week we'd do 6 miles, second week we would do 8, so on and so forth. And eventually we'd get to the point where, we were in shape where it felt like we could actually do a marathon. So the key is where we were going to do it. And really it came down to logistics. Where was the most room and the most walking area? And we figured Epcot is a huge park and you can get some really good walking there. And Hollywood is just down the road a bit, but it's connected by a pathway through the boardwalk, and then there's a bunch of resorts there. So we started to plan out a route. We did a dry run, and it came to 22 miles. So we were like, all right, I think we could do this. So let's see how we do. Today, it's going to be really hot. When Disney installed the Skyliner system, it added a whole new element to the walk. We're now able to take the Skyliner over to Caribbean Beach, the Riviera, Pop Century, and Art of Animation. And that made the walk even way more interesting, because instead of having to walk around Epcot like 14 times, you're now able to go to a bunch of the resorts and get a bunch of miles in there. It wasn't as boring. Not that coming to Disney is really ever boring, but it made the walk way more interesting instead of having to do the same pieces over and over again. Today we're going to add a different element into the mix. We have to head over to Disney Springs for a little bit to see if we can find some merch for Lynn. And if we're lucky, she'll have a new Orange Bird piece to her collection, and I'll get some more miles. So let's keep going. The route's pretty simple. It's basically Epcot, Hollywood, everything in between, and then a bunch of the resorts. As you can tell, it's early in the morning and it's a little busy here today, but we are on the pathway from Hollywood to Epcot. Our park pass is for Hollywood this morning, and that doesn't open for regular guests until 8:30. So what we're going to do is we're going to scoot around the boardwalk a couple times, get a bunch of miles in. We're going to get into Hollywood probably about 9 to beat a bunch of the crowd, and then go from there. So what we plan to do for the most part today, the schedule is, we're gonna hit the boardwalk, hit a bunch of these resorts like the Swan and the Dolphin there, hit Hollywood Studios, do a big loop through Hollywood Studios, come out of Hollywood Studios, we're gonna take a quick trip over to Disney Springs. We'll do a complete loop around Disney Springs to get a few miles. We're gonna come back to Hollywood Studios, park the car, and then start walking to the resorts. We'll head to the Riviera, Caribbean Beach, Pop Century, Art of Animation, do the Hourglass Lake and the pond around Caribbean Beach. Then we'll walk to Epcot, get into Epcot about 2, do a lap or 2 around there, and go from there. It's gonna be really hot today. They say mid-90s. So we've brought a lot of water, a lot of juices in the car, so we'll make frequent pit stops to the car. But this is gonna be a tough one today, just because of the weather. This is probably the warmest I've ever tried to do this walk on. So it will be a challenging day. The boardwalk's super quiet this time of day. Not a lot of people are out quite yet, which is nice. The key is to get as many miles in before noon as you can. Because if you've ever been to Florida, you know how hot it can be. And at the heat of the day, you want to do whatever you can to do during that time indoors. So for me, I'd like to hit a lot of the resorts and stuff, walk around inside, or hit Epcot, because there's a lot of stores in Epcot that you can duck in and out of to get steps. So if you do it smart, you can get a lot of miles in before 1 o'clock and then just kind of glide the rest of the way. Either way, it is pretty here early in the morning. All right, we are at mile 2 already. Not bad. We're behind the yacht club. About to head out to this little access road here. And then we're gonna take that. It's a little path that's gonna lead us beside the Swan and Dolphin hotels. And then we'll scoot around there, get a whole bunch of miles in. Doing pretty good so far. Can't complain. A lot of miles to go, but still having a good time. Then again, we just started. Talk to me about another 10 hours. Maybe singing a slightly different tune, but that's all right. So after coming down the little access road, kind of dumps you out on this little path that's right to the side of the Dolphin Hotel. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this path around all the way into the inside of the hotel, front lobby, go up the stairs, check out the shops. Then we'll come back out and we'll continue on around by the back pool area. And then we'll head over to the Swan, pick up some extra steps. We'll check out the shops over there as well. We want to keep our stops to a minimum today so we can get a bunch of miles in, like I said, before noon. And then after we do this loop, which is quite a long way, we'll take the back path over to Hollywood Studios. And hopefully by then it'll be about 9 o'clock. We'll head into the park, do a quick tour of the shops there to see if they've got the merch that we're looking for. If not, we'll have to head out about 9:45 over to Disney Springs, check out the co-op marketplace over there. And here we are, the Dolphin Fountain. It's not all working. It looks like a couple of the top shells aren't working. Kind of stops, but let's go inside. The Dolphin can be either really busy or really slow depending on what's going on. The lobby is really pretty. As you can see, some really nice chandeliers and a nice fountain, beautiful ceiling. It's really nice. Nice large bar, if you feel so inclined to hang out. Overall, a really nice place to just kind of chill. They also have this really nice cafe here called Fuel. And there's a bunch of stuff in here to get. Lots of coffees and teas and snacks. You head down this way and there's a couple of stores. One called Accents and another one over there called Disney Gifts Sundries. They're just not open yet. You can also stop at Shula's Steakhouse. They have a nice little steakhouse here. I've actually had Shula's at the airport and it was pretty good. I liked it. Let's head on out. There's also a really cool place down here at the bottom of this escalator. Just as you're about to get out to head out to the fountain area, it is called the Fountain. And you can get ice cream. You can also get a nice meal there as well. Fun place. Also, we've got Todd English's Blue Zoo. Never been a big fan of his. Always thought he was a little overrated and his food was a little overpriced. Alrighty, we've made our way out to the Dolphin, back onto the path. We're gonna head back to the pool area and then over to the Swan, across the lake. I kind of like to walk this area in the morning before people come out. It's pretty quiet. They've got basketball hoops and ping pong tables and all a bunch of things to have some fun. But if you come out here early, don't have to worry about people getting in your way, and you can get a bunch of miles in. On the backside of water. Hopefully they won't kick me out of there. So that worked out pretty good. There weren't many people in the pool area. I'm going to just take this little detour up to the road. Check out the newest Disney hotel. I use this for special functions. And it's the Walt Disney World Swan Reserve. I actually got a chance to tour that when it opened during opening weekend. Pretty nice. We thought there was a restaurant up at the top. Come to find out, it's a ballroom, and it's only used for private events. I think that'd be a perfect place for a restaurant since it overlooks really everything. But private events. Let's head over to the Swan. All right, we are on the side of the Swan. As you can see, there's a big pool right there. And there's the Dolphin over there. And we're just making our way around this path here. And then we'll head on inside, check out the shops, cafes, see if there's anything fun inside. Our little dove friends have decided to follow us. Hey, Dottie. All right, down here in the Swan, there's a couple of restaurants, one called Kimonos, another one called the Garden Grove. I've never eaten at either one, but I can't imagine that they would be bad. These are higher end resorts, so I imagine that the food would be pretty good here. There's Kimonos. Yeah, it looks really pretty in there. And there's the Garden Grove. Look, there's like a tree right in the middle. Pretty. Huh. I've never been in here before in all my years. Pretty. Always fun walking in here, checking out the swans. Always pretty. Java's kind of fun too. Bunch of things to snack on. These guys don't open for a few minutes, so we're gonna end up missing the opening. That's okay. We can do some window shopping. They don't have what I'm looking for. Nice little outdoor fountain. We're running a little late this morning because I want to get to Disney Springs when it opens at 10 so that I can beat out some of the resellers. There's another restaurant here in the Swan. Quick look at the menu. I want to pause and check it out. So what I would normally do is I'd normally head out the front and then go around the outside fountain, but it's getting a little late. I'm gonna head over to Hollywood Studios, get into the park, do some merch shopping, and go from there. See you in a minute. So we are back on the path to Hollywood Studios, averaging a little over 3 miles an hour, which is my typical morning pace. I will not keep that pace up all day. It's gonna be just too hot. But the plan was to get back to Hollywood Studios by 9 a.m. I think we're gonna hit that. And have about 6 miles in before we head over to Disney Springs and get like 3 miles in over there before we head back. So the goal is to have about 9 miles in the bag by the time we finish at Disney Springs and then get back here probably about noon. The key really is to pace yourself, but what I've noticed is if you can get a good half marathon in before 1 p.m., you're actually going to do yourself a huge favor. You definitely don't want to be making up some serious miles during the heat of the day. That'll take pretty much everything out of you. And today is the hottest day that I've ever attempted a walk of this length. I never really know how far I'm going to go when I get up in the morning and go. I only do these solo trips every now and again. It just all depends on how the body reacts. My right quad is a little stiff today. Just hoping it kind of works itself out. The first 10 miles is brutal. The second 10 miles, believe it or not, is actually easier. We won't discuss about the third. That's really uncomfortable. I know I mentioned this in almost all of my videos, but I like to call this the perpetual drip. Even in the hottest days, that still drips no matter what. If that ever stops dripping, then you'll know it's the end of days. Let's hope that never happens. So much for missing all the crowds. Oh boy, this might have been a bad idea. It's 9:01. We made it through security. Now we just gotta kind of wand in, and away we go. All right, let's go into Legends of Hollywood. See if we can find something good. Well, I've seen stranger things. Let's head into the Rock and Roller Coaster store. Hey, Gertie. All right, you can come over here and meet Mickey and Minnie. It's an hour. And the commissary is down here. We can get some food. And head towards Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And here we are outside of Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Didn't really have time right now to head through Galaxy's Edge. We'll do that a little bit later. But we've got to head back to the car now. Head over to Disney Springs. And see if we can't get Lynn some merch. If not, we'll at least get some miles in. And get one step closer to a goal of a lot of miles today. Stay tuned, we're still walking. We've broken the 5-mile mark. All right, we are at Disney Springs. We were at 6 miles. We'll come back to that a little later, Disney style. We're gonna head up this way towards the STK Steakhouse. It is an awesome place to have dinner. Just bring tons of cash. Place is wicked expensive, but really super, super nice. Heading towards a co-op. They open at 10. They let everybody in early, so maybe we'll get lucky. Kind of taking the back way through behind STK and Morimoto. It's just quicker this way. It cuts off a lot of the stores. More of a direct line to the co-op, which should open in about 5 minutes. Looking for some new Orange Bird swag. Lynn is a big Orange Bird fan. And hopefully I can get her the new kind of fluffy plush bag that she's been looking for. If not, we gave it a good college try anyway. Morimoto Asia, great place to go eat. Again, another one of those things, better bring your pocketbook. And if you check this out, this is the line to Gideon's Bakehouse. People start to get in line early, and they try to get their early coffee cake cookies. Place is so much fun. Over there is Terralina, and over here is Paddlefish. I've eaten at Terralina, wasn't a big fan. Haven't eaten at Paddlefish yet. And we got T-Rex over here. It's kind of like the Rainforest Cafe, only with dinosaurs. This is a good sign. It's a good omen. Nice, mission accomplished. Woo. And there's Gideon's. As you can see, there's a huge, huge line. Absolutely fantastic. Got a chance to check out Gideon's, check out Gideon's. Not only do they have these monster-sized cookies, monster-sized cakes and drinks, it's just a really awesome place to go check out. There's the ganachery. rather overpriced chocolate place, but it's Disney Springs, so it's to be expected. Disney Style is always a fun place to go in. There's a Star Wars store, a Marvel store down here too. Let's check them all out while we're here. Get some extra steps in as we enjoy the day. Checking out the Marvel superhero headquarters. We got some cool Marvel stuff. Can't go wrong with Cap. Cool. Outside the AMC Theater. If you haven't seen Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, go check it out. It's a really good movie. I liked it a lot. Donuts. Is there anything they can't do? Let's go check out some cool Everglazed donuts. Look at those, yummo. Whoa, look at those. Very cool. Outside of Splitsville, it's a cool place to go bowl and have some food. And a really cool M&M store. Due to steps, we probably won't go in a lot of these stores. I'm gonna try to get a good 3 miles in here before we head back to the parks. It's just quiet here right now, so it's a perfect time to just get some miles in. There's the House of Blues. And I haven't tried this quite yet. Maybe someday. Sort of a VR thing that you put a little headset on. This was the NBA experience. I'm not sure why they thought that this was going to succeed here. I mean, it didn't down in City Walk, Universal. The City Works. Barbecue Smokehouse right over there. Grab some barbecue. And here's the Cirque du Soleil, Drawn to Life, a new show that was put on hold for a while because of COVID. Now it's back. Have to check it out. It's Jaleo by Jose Andres. I have yet to eat here. There's Pepe. Get to eat there. This is the new Salt and Straw ice cream place. It's supposed to be really good. They got some really weird flavors. Check that out. And then classic flavors. And over here, near the balloon, we've got some food trucks. I don't really come to Disney Springs very often, so I don't really know when they're open, but they're not open all the time. We've got a mac and cheese truck. Green Orlando. There's the balloon, just in the back of Starbucks. Four Rivers Cantina. Like I said, I don't come to Disney Springs all that often, so I don't know when these open. So over here at the Coke store, multi-levels on this store, but at the tippity top there's a Coke bar. And up there you can get Coke flights, different Coke sodas from all over the world. They also do floats as well. Back before the pandemic hit, you could go up there and get a huge root beer float. But then the pandemic hit, and then they cut the root beer float size significantly while charging the same price. Planet Hollywood's over here on the left. And Guy Fieri's Chicken Guy is over there. And there are a bunch of stores inside of here. Just as you come out of the Orange Garage and bang a right, there's the Columbia store. Over there is Tommy Bahama, Johnson Murphy, Sugar Boo and Company. There's a Vera Bradley store, an UGG store, Fit to Run store. whole bunch of stuff. So if shopping's your thing, it's actually nice and cool in here too. Air conditioning from the stores kind of comes out and away you go. Ukulele dude, good for him. We come out of the building, there are even more shops down here at Disney Springs. Free People, Johnny Was, Kate Spade, Zara. It basically turns into an upscale outlet mall for the most part. A lot of different companies, including Coach, Mac. There's an Under Armour store here, but there's also my favorite store here in Disney Springs, and that is Uniqlo, and we're gonna head into there. It is a Japanese clothing company that I really like. Also, Superdry is here too, which is kind of fun. Coach. Let's get some steps by going into Uniqlo. I'm not a big fan of filming inside of stores because they'll usually play music and then my video gets flagged for copyright infringement, which is not cool. But we can always edit it out. The best thing about Uniqlo is their designs are always different than those in the parks. And they're always way more affordable too. Boots and pants and boots and pants. Outside the Lego shop. And that's the World of Disney. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Disney stores in the world. And it's kind of insane. You definitely don't want to be there when new merch is released. If you've seen Charlie Brown Christmas, if you watch the end of it, where the kids' arms are flailing all over the place, building up the Christmas tree in Snoopy's house to make it look all Christmassy, that's kind of what it looks like here when new merch is released. All these resellers come in and all you see is arms flailing, clothing flying, and it's really quite insane. It's the busiest place in the world. You want to hit it early, no question, because if you don't, it's going to be crazy. Go down to Basin and get yourself some soaps. Rebus Brothers, we can go in here and check out some glass works. And you got Ghirardelli's. Chuckles. Always fun. All right, let's head into the pin station here at Disney Springs. Check out all the pins and other fun things. Star Wars coins. More pins than you ever know what to do with. '50th medallions. Pin sets. Some more. Star Wars ones with Baby Yodas. And some Marvel ones. You can also buy some Magic Bands. So if you come out of the pin station, Trendy is on your right. We just came out of there a few seconds ago. And Once Upon a Toy is right there. You can probably figure out what they sell in there. Earl of Sandwiches over here. Now I thought they were closed, but it looks like they're still open. Over here on the left, once you get past the pin station, there's a left-hand store, and then the Star Wars Trading Post is over there. And the Spice and Tea Exchange. A little carousel. And Days of Christmas. Over on the far end of Disney Springs is Art of Disney. And it is right next to the Rainforest Cafe. So here we are outside the Rainforest Cafe. I like to call it the far end of Disney Springs. We are going to head down this bridge. And we're going to do one more kind of loop around the front part where Cirque du Soleil is again. There's Goofy's Candy Company. Got some sweet treats in there. So from a mileage check, we're at 9 miles. Just about right on the button, 9 miles. And we're right on schedule. We wanted to do 6 before we got here, and then 3 when we got here. And we're just about there. Swirls in the water. They sell all different flavors of Dole Whip right there. And over there is Saratoga Springs. Should we walk over there or take a boat? This little bakery here, this NYC bakery, specializes in gluten-free goods. Straight ahead is the Boathouse restaurant. That's a really fun place to go eat. Some parts of the bar you can sit outside and you could look at some really cool boats that are sort of moored up along the dock. And then if you're really lucky, you get to ride in an amphicar. These little cars are part car, part boat, and they go in the water. And they're lots of fun. This is Jock Lindsay's Hangar Bar. You know, Jock was Indiana Jones's pilot in Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Edison is another fun place to go eat. The inside is very steampunkish. Very cool, I liked it a lot. Over here, there's Maria and Enzo's. I've never eaten here, but they do pasta and seafood. And I have eaten at the Enzo's Hideaway Tunnel Bar and Restaurant. It's kind of an Italian joint. It's sort of tucked down below. A little overpriced, but definitely fun. It's kind of tucked way down in there. All right, we are heading back to the car. Just did a mileage check. We're at 9.2 miles. We've surpassed what we really wanted to do here, what I really wanted to do here. So we're gonna head back to the car and we're gonna end part 1 of this video. Thanks for joining me, everybody. It's been really fun so far, but the hardest part of the day is coming. It's the heat of the day. But we'll have close to 10 miles at that point, so hopefully it won't be too bad. We're gonna head back to Hollywood Studios and then go from there. Catch y'all in part 2.